Hello and welcome to this week's video. I'm going to be using 3 photographs, 2 blue sheets of card and this Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file which I'm turning into a shaker. So we're going to my Cricut to do a new project and then we're going to go to the bottom left hand side to the upload button and we are going to find the cut file, which is this one here, and click it and insert it into the program. So once it's here, you can play around with the size. I know I want mine about 6 mils, or 6 inches, sorry, and now I want to copy this. So you go up to the duplicate button. Now we have 2 exact copies. I need a third, so we're duplicating it again. And then we have our 3 different copies. Now, first of all, you're going to want to have one that you cut purely on paper. This is going to have all of the detail in it. So this is the one that we're going to leave as it is. So we're also going to need a second one, which we're going to want to black out some of this detail. So go down to contouring on the bottom right and you get your contour editing tool. So we're going to make this so you can see the whole image. Now, each one of these sections, as you click over it, you can see they highlight. So you can click to stop it being highlighted. This, in fact, stops it from cutting that bit of detail out. So we want to get rid of the umbrella handles. But we do want, and you can see here, I keep clicking because I'm trying to highlight the actual handle, but the other end, the center bit, which I actually want cut out, keeps appearing. So we just have to move the cursor around slowly until the part that you want to take off actually highlights. Once you think you've done everything that you want, you close this down and you can have a look how the image has changed. Now you can see that my handles are all solid, but I still have the cutout between them. If you do want to change this, like I've decided I don't need to cut out the top of the umbrella, you can go straight back into it and you can then take out any more elements. So you can keep going back and forward as much as you like until you've got what you want. So we have also down the bar here, you've got all of your various elements, various parts of it. So you can see the different shapes and these are the ones that we've turned off. I clicked that one thinking it might have been the umbrella top, but it actually wasn't. So we go back up here and I click that again. You can see the bit that's now is highlighted and I've clicked it again and it's gone blank again. So there we've got this element which is going to form the basis of the thicker part of our shaker card. And the last element, of course, is the perspex that you want, or acetate that you want across the top. So we are literally, apart from the top outline image, we are going to highlight absolutely everything. Now you see here, as we go down, clicking these, you can see that they grey out the various areas. This is another way of actually greying out the areas so that they don't actually cut. I find this a little bit more fiddlier and I find it easier just going over the elements, over the actual image and clicking on them until you get to one that just won't highlight like we had before. Again, I've just realised I do actually want those centre bits cut out because I don't want to put acetate where the umbrella is not, it's not part of the umbrella. So I think I've done all of it, come out of it, and my image should be completely black. So it is. So that is going to be perfect for our acetate. Now you would make this image, go to make, and you've got your 3 different mats. So you've got your one for paper, one for foam or card or anything else you want to use, and then one for your acetate. So you make that in the normal way. So that's what I've done. The only thing was I had to cut out the centre of the umbrella for the shaker because you couldn't do it any other way. You actually had to physically cut that with a knife. I am going to do an edge around my paper, around my page with the darker blue. So I've just cut off 1 inch from both sides of the light blue and I'm gutting out the middle of the dark because I actually want to use some of this dark blue for my photograph. So I've cut this at 10.5. so that I've got a decent amount of area to be able to glue this down. So I'm basically just popping these quickly onto the page to have a look where I want them. You can see I've cut out my title and I'm recycling the piece of paper where I cut my title from to back my photograph, so not to waste anything at all. I've got some Shimmers Grey here, which I'm going to use just to create some background element and a little bit of shading, and I literally want this coming down from where the umbrella goes, so I'm going all the way down. I've just got out my tacky glue and I have made a pocket for one of my photographs, so that I can put my journaling in the pocket. Again, you can see there where I've recycled that piece of paper. Now I'm laying everything down and putting my title where I think I want it before I actually put my the glue on my shaker, because we want to make sure it's exactly where I want it to be. So I think the title will go there, and I'm planning on putting some clouds and some rain coming from underneath and around the umbrella. So I'm quite happy where all of that is. So now I'm going to use this glue. Now the tacky glue was getting to the end of its life, so I figured it was easier to stick it onto a tile here, to tap it out of the container and use a paintbrush to apply it, rather than fighting and faffing with trying to squeeze it out of the pot now that it's almost finished. So that's why I've put it out on this tile, just to make it easy. Now you're going to want to make sure that absolutely the whole of this umbrella top is glued down, because of course if it's not, when you put your shaker elements in there, your sequins and glitter and whatever you want to put in it, if it's not completely sealed, then they of course will find their way out. It seems to be amazing how quickly they do actually seem to find a gap, if there is a gap in your shaker. So I'm sticking that down, and then I'm going to leave that to dry for a little while. So while that was off to dry, I just went and did a few other bits and pieces, and I'm thinking of actually going to use the glossy accents to stick down the rest of the umbrella while that is drying on my page. So I've just come around the edge. It doesn't really matter where I glue this down. I don't have to glue the whole thing down, just so long as it sits on the acetate nicely. So I don't bother gluing every last inch of the umbrella, but I do want to add some colour. So I've got some brown paper and some glitter paper for the handle. So I'm drawing around the brown, and then I cut that out, and there you see I have the brown handles, and I have some very sparkly glittery handles to the umbrellas, which I really like. Sticking those down. This is a double-sided a sticky back, like a sticky back plastic that I had left over from my wedding album that I was doing, and so I thought it would be nice to use here. And then I've got the brown, and I'm just sticking the rest of that all down now that I've got my elements in place and the umbrella how I like it. I apologise that I'm not quite in frame there. I've unfortunately waiting for a new desk, and at the moment I'm working on a very small area of desk and finding it quite difficult to work on. So I'm going to glue down my title whilst I'm still waiting for the backing of the umbrella to completely dry, and I've stuck down my photographs, and I have actually stuck the page down. I have now stuck the page down. I am just making my tag, cut off one side, and then I use that to back the other so that I'm using the same angle. I always find that it annoys me if I don't. In my shaker, I am going to put some little wooden stars, and I'm going to have a look to see what else I've got. Maybe some small hearts, if I've got some small enough. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I have, so I've used the stars, and I'm actually going to use two little people. Love these tiny little like toilet door people. So I'm going to pop those in there along with some sequins. So I have 2 packs, and I am picking out colours that are in these packs that are in the photographs. So I like this blue. This is a Spiegel Mums scrap sequins, but these were exclusively made for Thompson Crafts and available here in the UK. And I have some very, very old square sequins that I thought would be quite nice and go quite well and tie the two together. So you've got a blue one from the Spiegel's Mums, the very green and brown ones from Spiegel Mums, and also the square ones in the third part of the umbrella. Apologise for the camera. Obviously my camera's not set up quite right. As I said, I am on limited space this week. So I've got these other little sequins. They're very, very small. They're almost like the holes out of some of the big sequins. And I had some of those in the brown, which I thought would be quite nice to tie in with the wall in the photograph, and some silver or grey. So I've added those in there as well. And now we're going to come in with the glossy accents, and again you're going to have to make sure that when you do this you go all the way around your shaker element and you stick that firmly in place, or your sequins and glitter and everything else that you've used will escape. The last thing I did on this page was I was adding some clouds, and I added some gems as drops of rain on this page, and they're the only other parts of the page that I've done. Here we go, and we're putting in that the top section and gluing that in place, making sure that that lines up perfectly with the various elements, the tops of the umbrellas. And then to make sure that dries, I have put a tile in on top. And I thought I would sparkle up the handles by adding a little bit of glossy accents all the way over them, so that when that dries, that gives the handles quite a nice sparkle, which I thought was quite a nice finishing touch to this page. But as you can see from the stills, I've added some clouds and some raindrops in some lovely gems there. I hope you like this page. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and you found that helps you make shaker pages and use the most from your cut files. And you see my cats there up in the top corner. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and we will see you again next week. Bye.